All right, this is embarrassing, but I might as well document it. This happened to me once before in the backcountry, and it was with one of my Jeeps. Every morning, I roll my windows down about halfway so it doesn't get really hot in there for my lithium ion battery that charges my refrigerator, and also so the battery doesn't have to work so hard. It keeps it cooler just to keep the windows down. There's my excuse. Every evening I go out, I put the windows back up when it's nice and cool. And part of the problem is I don't get in the car to turn the car on in order to roll the windows down. And out of thousands of times of doing that over the years, eventually I forgot. This is the second time, twice. I'm assuming that's what caused this problem because it didn't look like the car was on when I got in it to leave today. But there's a little bit charged to the battery, but it won't start the car. Last night, maybe I forgot to turn the ignition off just to, I don't run the car, I just turn it on to roll the windows up. So I may have drained the battery a bit that way. Or this morning for a couple hours. Usually when I sit here this long, I think I've been here 6 or 8, 7, 8, 9 days. I've lost track. Usually when I'm in a camp that long, if my car is sitting the whole time, I turn it over and run it for a little while. Just make sure there's a good charge to it as it's sitting there and that I didn't accidentally destroy the charge. Well, before I had a little tiny brick that I was able to hook up to the battery, and since I've left that behind because I have so many solar power stations. So what I'm doing right now is I'm using the cheapest one I have, like the 287 watt little orange battery that I have. I have a little set of cords that I can plug into it and then to the battery, and I've been charging it now for I think 10 minutes. I think I just need to be patient here and let it charge the battery for 45 minutes to an hour, something like that, before I decide to try and turn the key again. The first time this happened to me, I was really way back in the backcountry, like 20 miles back where no one drove by, and I would have had to walk out for miles to get help. Although I have Starlink and I can always get a phone signal and call for help. You know, these are the situations where you just you get kind of an awful feeling in your stomach when you first realize it's happening. The best thing you can do is just relax and immediately go to problem solving and go about figuring out a way to get out of the problem. It's running. I charged it for 45 minutes with this little tiny battery and these little dinky jumper cables. But definitely gave it enough power to turn the engine over, and should be on the road again here in about a half hour. I loved this spot. I enjoyed every single day, every minute of being here. Well, there was a few moments where the lightning was awful close. But the clouds, the colors, the rocks, the scenery in every single direction was constantly changing. So I was never bored looking at the landscape around me. Gotta get my driving brain on. It's always a little bit of a jolt after like 8 days or 2 weeks. Getting back in a car and moving. Often I never move my car for a week or two. Well, I'm glad I was able to charge that dead battery, and it really didn't set me back too long, considering. And I know the system works. There's nothing like testing that stuff out in the field. I usually test that stuff out also at home or somewhere where I'm safe, but you never know until you have an actual dead battery. it's time to climb out of this canyon. There's a little museum here coming up, and I stopped in here on my way in. And they have some Indian ruins out back there that are interesting. It's free. They're still working on it. I think it's still maybe an it's right here on the right. It still may be an active archaeological site. They may still be digging on it. And then the inside of the museum has a lot of really nice artifacts to look at. As I said, it's free, but they ask for donations. So I gave them $5 in order to get about 12 gallons of water there and then check out their museum. So we're back in the mountains again, up in the Ponderosa and aspen trees. Been gaining elevation steadily. Make a couple thousand feet elevation at least, I think, going up over this little mountain. Summit, 9,600 feet. One mile to Torrey. So no big deal to drive down here for the grocery store. Okay, I got some food. Not much. Something that would carry me maybe 4 days. Gas up ahead here as I'm driving back towards Capitol Reef. Probably take 2 hours to drive over to Capitol Reef. I might just go to my stomping grounds over there. So I just got out of Torrey, headed east on 24, one of the most scenic routes in the whole country. The wind is so strong today. It's gusting up to 34 miles an hour. I mean, not horrible, but strong enough to move the trailer around. There were moments where every single thing hanging is just banging against the walls in here. But as soon as I turn the camera on, 20 to 35 mile an hour gusts of wind coming in today. It's only going to get stronger because it's only about 10 o'clock in the morning. But I got my shower in, I got that thing up, and I have a guy lined out with 6 different ropes to keep it from collapsing for now. But where there's a will, there's a way. It's been over a week since I was able to take a shower. I've been here in this campsite now for 2 nights, and it's about mid-morning on my 3rd day, I guess, here. And new campsite just outside of Capitol Reef, pretty near where, well, in the same area that I stayed when I hiked Pleasant Creek. It's been like 6 weeks ago now, and I've circled back down through southern Utah and had a little time, and I didn't feel like I got my fill of canyon country when the smoke ran me off. So anyway, this morning thought I'd walk up the road. I've kind of just been sitting around for a day and a half, made myself a shower, and it's been super windy anyway. I think most of yesterday I had to spend inside because of the wind, and a lot of sand blowing around. I'm thinking of taking this shortcut over to Burrow Wash and up into this canyon that has some nice slots. Also, I was just curious if there was anyone else around me, like if there's some campers up along the rim where I was, and just also to get out and get some exercise. So I was going to take you along. I'll show you my campsite briefly here. Awesome views on these rims, this time facing south, but the wind tends to be a lot heavier coming up off the rims, so it's makes for a lot of very fine sand blowing into your vehicle of any kind. So let's get out, let's take a look at this campsite and see what you think. Has some nice views, I like it. It's just a bit windy. It's supposed to calm down today though. It's a lot like my other campsite with a lot of these juniper trees, you know, spotted all around this bench up here, or flat, I guess you might call it. But it's a little more, the desert's a little more filled in with cactus and these beautiful grass actually right now, Mormon tea. It's a little more filled out over here rather than these juniper trees just being dotted throughout the whole landscape over there. See Capitol Reef off to the north there. And here's the rim that I'm on. I've got my trailer pointed north there. It's still somewhat hot. I mean, it's getting into the mid 80s now. What is this? About middle of September now. So it's starting to cool down a bit, but if I point my door to the north and get a little bit of shade from this juniper on the south side here, shortly we'll walk up this dirt road that is just right off my campsite here. This is a great campsite. I love it. Yeah, it's very beautiful, and the views are just fantastic. The Henry Mountains again, mesas. So that's the campsite. Man, I'm always pointing out these fire pits that are nice. This campsite's really clean. You don't see people abusing it. It's like I actually have seen all kinds of interesting rocks. I don't know rocks at all, but this is someone who just left some behind. Yeah, really nice day here this morning. I'm a nice ways off the road, but it doesn't seem to matter out here. Almost no one comes down these roads. Did see someone drive by yesterday in an SUV. I don't think they're camping out here. Only supposed to get up to 25-mile-an-hour gusts today. We'll see. They can be annoying with this really fine sand out here, actually. Maybe it's on the rim that I'm getting more of that really fine sand. My last campsite was down here. I have seen people in this spot before in the past few years. A couple times. Maybe when the weather was good. Looks like no one's in that spot. And it's easily one of the best spots out here. So if no one's there, it's very unlikely anyone else is within a couple miles of me. Back down to the end of this road, this canyon here, that's what I hiked like a month and a half ago, and Pleasant Creek's at the bottom of that, and that's just all Capitol Reef that you see straight in front of you. Something about coming out into Utah and places like this that's really what most people don't suspect is you can be out in these big flat areas and it looks like there's nothing out there for miles. You might even be looking at these rocks formations like in Capitol Reef, and then it may not look like there's much to see out there. But once you drop off these benches, what looks like these desolate areas all around us, you walk a short distance, sometimes a mile or two, and you go into the bottom of a canyon and you start working your way into it, and it deepens and deepens, and it just gets more interesting and more interesting usually. But I'd prefer not to be camping in the park, kind of at an expensive campground with a lot of people. So if I can study the the public land around the border of a national park, I'm trying to look for a back door, usually on BLM land or national forest, something like that. And spots like this that I'm in, and some of the trails I'm finally doing around here, going into the canyons, those took years for me to develop that kind of knowledge of the area. Years ago, I think 5 years ago, I got a local tip, from someone who lives locally here about the dirt road I drive in on even. I walked almost all of that before I even drove it, so I learned it inch by inch. The first camp I had was miles from here, closer to the road, and then I walked this road in, and little by little found what I could do and what I could pull off. And then I started just walking some of the areas near me, like up into these canyons. Same for this trail here that I think is going to go straight over to this crack down here, and that's got to go up into the narrows that's at the top of Burrow Wash right here, which that comes in from the road out there, and that's a longer hike from the paved road. That would be your established kind of trail into these areas, although very few people come out here to do this part of the national park. If you read the pamphlets, that come from the national park, or you go to the national park website, they'll say these trails are actually pretty advanced. In that canyon, there's a point where I probably won't go past, if they're right, that it's kind of more professional or expert rock climbing abilities to go very far down that. And at one point, I guess you hit a pour off that's just impossible to go down without ropes. But anyway, the way I approach these trails, like I am going to tomorrow, I don't have to go any farther than I'm comfortable with. I guess the only other kind of turnaround point usually is for me, like in Pleasant Creek. I probably hiked 5 miles plus each direction, if I count having to go back and forth from all the tripod camera sets. But on that day, I just hit the point where I was comfortable with being able to make the 5 miles back up and out of that canyon to my campsite. Good clouds today. There's always good clouds out here in the canyon country. It was nice here. Hot, but not too hot. There I am, Crusher and Betty. This is a nice spot. The trees are a bit bigger than most anywhere. The only downside is more wind comes up off the rim. Yeah, I love this campsite. This just view can't be beat. And I have a target right there sitting in front of me, what I want to go do. And once the wind gusts really get going, I have to actually close the doors in the vent, because fine sand will still work its way in through every screen. Sometimes you run into this, especially in the desert. I could just feel on my table here a fine film of sand on there already. But at one point you just learn to live with it and you don't mind it so much. You just try to mitigate it the best you can. I don't know what I'll do with the rest of the day. Maybe I'll crack a book, get going through this book I've been working on. We'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Bye.